You have arrived at your destination.
You are now a loyal follower of the Villain District Podcast.
All right, we're in it.
Here we are.
We are here.
There's no stopping this train now.
Nope.
The train
It's going.
is going.
It's
the
left
only
the
way to
station.
stop this train,
Is to fall off the tracks completely.
fall off the tracks,
That's true.
throw something in front of
You've
it.
heard this podcast before. Stephen Barnes, what's up?
Hey,
How's
hey
it going?
guys? How's it going?
How's it going?
It's going good. I mean, we've had some conversations before this got started. So,
Right.
We have, not to trick our listeners.
yeah, but we've saved some good stuff for you.
True. Basically, Will needs to watch Guardians.
We did not watch the Guardians
That's
trailer.
true. We didn't
were
watch
going
it.
to.
That's true.
Let's just say the very last scene in the trailer
Uh-huh.
is Rocket Raccoon
Okay.
with a mini Groot on his shoulder.
Okay.
It's the roles have
That's
reversed.
really all you need to know.
That's all
right.
you need to know.
Good.
The roles have reversed,
Good. I like it.
and it looks like it's going to be tight.
Nice.
Instead of little dancing baby Groot,
Yeah.
it's more like toddler.
Right. What was the deal with Groot's memory? Wasn't there? I heard there was something like, does Groot remember Guardians 1 or not? I was thinking.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know
as
if they've
far as
released
movies
that or
go.
not.
I feel like I heard somebody say he does not remember it. And so in some sense, it's like you're getting a new character.
Okay.
Because it's like, I don't know if that's
interesting.
true or not, but
I don't know how I feel about it. I
yeah.
mean, that could really get into some some conversations.
And here was the deal was the people I heard talking about it were saying like the reason this guy was for it because he was like, yeah, I'm glad he doesn't remember because that means that Groot's sacrifice in the first film means something, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not just like, oh no, he's fine. He's just a baby again.
Oh, okay.
It's like,
so,
no,
like
he
the stakes,
sacrifices
yeah,
himself.
like he did
Yeah.
die.
Yes, in some sense.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Right.
Here's my question. So how can you tell the difference? How can you tell if he knows?
Yeah, right.
That's true. Like, can you remember like Groot?
Groot,
Well,
yeah.
yeah, I guess he does.
He's saying the same stuff.
If he says we are Groot at any point,
Oh yeah,
Then,
yeah,
yeah, that's
There
the
you go.
indicator.
He remembers.
There you go.
For
That's
sure.
good.
we were having a conversation the other day about. You guys hear that?
Yeah, I
Whoa.
do.
It's my phone. I don't know
Wow.
if that's being recorded. Probably
That's
not.
my jam.
But if it's the old riddle of it's not a riddle, but if you have a pirate ship
Right. Yes.
and over the years you replace board by board by
Oh,
board.
right.
Right.
Once every board has been replaced, is it the same ship?
the
Right.
same one.
And that's kind of the same as if you could take your consciousness and put it in a synthetic brain,
That's right.
and then put it back in your body.
Right.
Are you still
Is
you?
it still you? Yeah. Exactly.
And I guess it's the same thing with Groot. If he can't remember his life before, is it really still
Is
Groot?
it Groot?
or
Yeah,
not?
it's still Groot.
When he says "I am Groot" now, is he lying?
Yeah.
Right.
I might be Groot.
I could be Groot.
Can't remember. If
I at
I'm
least
Groot.
was Groot.
Yeah, pretty much. I was Groot.
I was Groot. Yeah.
But those conversations are pretty interesting. They can go some places.
That's true. That's
And
absolutely true.
I know how I feel about them, but and the way I feel about I'm correct.
Okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Good.
So,
Good. I like that.
Philosophy doesn't mean anything. I'm right.
Right.
That's really all that matters.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's good that you're here. It's been too long.
I know.
Long time
I've
coming.
Wanted to be here so bad. I just, like I said, just hit you guys up on
been a long
Facebook. I was
time
like, all
coming.
right, it's time to do this.
Yeah, it
thing.
is time. Yep.
I don't have anything to talk about. But like, I'm really excited to be here.
I joke a lot about my mom being the only listener of our podcast, and that's not true. We have two,
That's
I was
right.
gonna say it's close to true.
Everyone, bro.
and you're the other one.
I
yeah.
love your all's podcast. Like it is. I've told both of you this, before, but it is everything that I wish I could do with mine. Mine's too much about like having to know the background of each character and stuff like that. But just sitting here
Right.
and just bullshitting and
Right.
having no script and like, yes, that would be such a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
Right.
I think when we first started, we were like, okay, we need to do our research.
Right.
We need to have some questions planned. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It just again, it was a train that derailed really quickly.
Yeah. That
And-
ended quick.
Yeah. If it were just me or just you on this podcast, I don't think it would work.
No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like I don't think I could hold just BSing with somebody for
Right.
an hour
Right.
by myself.
Yeah, totally.
So,
Well, that's another thing I love about it is that you guys have known each other since you were how old?
Like 10?
I'd say
11?
10.
Something like that?
I'd
Yeah.
say
See
10.
that?
Long time.
Yeah, that literally it just reminds me of, like me and Mitchell's friendship because we've known each other since we were like 7.
Oh, okay.
So again, you can just sit there with your best friend and
Yeah.
chat about nothing.
Yeah.
And you've been doing it since you were a kid.
Sure.
You know,
Right.
You don't need like. Well, here's the question number 2, sir. You know,
You don't need content. Per
right?
se.
I just need to have a good time.
You hear that, Sean and Pat of About Time podcast with your questions?
With your
We don't need
questions.
we don't need questions.
We don't need no stinking questions.
Hey, Joe, are we clipping out a little bit? I'm sounding
Maybe.
like I am. And I feel like catching that early would be good. I don't know if we are. It just sounds like it in my headphones. Maybe not.
It's probably just your headphones.
Just my headphones. Okay, just checking.
I've got it.
Cool.
I change
You got it under
stuff. I'm
control.
always changing things.
You got it under control.
It's bad.
So for those who don't know, just by me saying your name and you saying your podcast, you're on Bagged and Bearded. You're
Yep.
the host of Bagged and Bearded.
I am. We
Right?
do comic books.
Yeah, definitely.
Love to talk comics.
Yep, absolutely. We were talking comics a little bit. I know we just said we don't have questions, but I am going to ask a question.
Oh, dude, you're good, man.
So when did you get into comics? Like, how long is that? Because, like, you were just ready to jump on. You know, I've talked to Brian about it, and he was like, oh, yeah, Steven was ready to do a comics podcast
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, like, when did that?
Well, you know, I read comics as a kid, and then getting out of high school, going into college, I dropped them completely because, you know, women.
Right.
And then about 2012, I was walking down Barstown Road, and the Great Escape had a big poster up for Avengers versus X-Men. I was like, that just looks
Yeah.
freaking dope.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I went inside and picked up the first issue, and
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, how did they get here? You know, so went and worked my way back through the years,
Yeah.
and now I have way too many comics in my house.
It's so funny. I've heard that story so many times. Like,
Yeah.
even like, do you know who Max Bemis is?
Max Bemis.
You wouldn't. You probably wouldn't know him personally, but
You're
he's a singer of a band called Say Anything, and
Okay.
he's also a comic book writer.
Yeah.
And he was out of comics for a long time, and once he, I think they had like one of their records was their first big record. They got advances on money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they were actually making money.
Right.
And he spent like a large percent of his money on getting back into comics because
no way.
he went to a comic store and he's like, wait, what's this? If I read this, I have to know. And he got all these different backlogs of all his favorite stuff, and he like has everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much.
Like I can't. I've thought about it like over the years. I mean, it's only been 4, I guess, since 2012, but. Just, you know, going to these cons and being like, okay, I've got to find issue number 77 of Volume 3.
Yeah.
And then, like, in this past year, my wife and I bought a house. And so now that all my comics are no longer in storage and they're out in my man cave, I'm like, holy crap, I cannot be hunting down every volume of X-Men. Like, I don't need it.
Yeah, dude, it's interesting. For me, it comes in waves. So when I probably first got back into really collecting comics, probably about the same time, maybe 2013 or so.
If we got back into it at the same
2012,
time, right?
Yeah.
2011, 2012, something like that.
Yeah.
No, it was later than that.
a little later than
2013.
that. Probably about 3 years ago.
Yeah, something like that. 3-4 years ago.
And I was to the point, just like you, I would like I would search down specific issues, and I'd have my my holds list where I had like 5 or 6 different things I was following. So monthly, I was spending what at the time was probably $4 a comic at 6 comics. So,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, $1 million.
Yeah.
Right.
Just on these books that I wouldn't even read them right away because like it was weird. So this is how I thought about it.
I
was
remember
like,
this. I remember having this conversation.
If I spend $4 on a comic book,
Right.
and I read it as soon as I get it, then my money's gone.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But if
can
I
see
wait
that.
like I don't know a couple weeks, I'm holding. There's potential energy that I have in my box, but then I forget about it.
You were using
You're like, oh, I didn't read that last issue.
Yeah. You were using the consumable metaphor for that. You're pretending you're consuming them.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which you're not.
No.
You're just reading them and then you can still
Put
have
them in
them.
a box.
Then you still have it.
Yeah.
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 But now it's at the point where like I don't have any monthly holds.
You don't.
I wait for trades, and right now I'm just reading trades because I don't have any room for it. Just like I don't know where I would put it.
It's scary how quick it stacks up. I was going to ask you guys what you're reading and if you have a holds list. Yeah, you said you trade weight.
I have. I had before the end of New 52. I had Batman on my pull, and then I had. What was the other one? I had Detective Comics for a little while. I'm just a big Batman guy, and so now I have All Star Batman. And that's the only one.
Oh, good choice.
Yeah, that's the only one I have on there.
That's the only one?
Yeah, that's it right now.
I've got 43.
43? 43 titles?
43 titles on my holds list.
Woo! Are you... Wait.
Oh, my God.
That's as of today because I was in the store earlier and had Mitch take a look.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, you win.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that's winning.
I was going to say, I got 5 or 6 on there, and I have to, that's something to keep up with every 43.
Yeah, well, it's something like 36 ongoing and 7 miniseries.
Okay.
But it's not, that's still not okay.
So let me ask, are you more into, are you a DC guy? Because I know they've started coming out bi-monthly, right?
Bi-weekly.
Or bi-weekly, sorry, yeah.
I'm getting more into DC, but I'm Marvel all the way.
Okay.
I collect Batman, All-Star Batman.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, if we're going to go into this. Batman, All-Star Batman, Dark Knight 3, The Master Race.
Okay.
And then The Flash and the new Teen Titans, which is just about to start.
Okay.
That's John Boy Myers was the artist for that, and I was like really into his art. And Damian Wayne is going to lead the team for Teen Titans, so I was like, okay. I'm gonna get into this. Yeah. He quit after issue 1, so we'll see if I stick that one out. But, yeah, no, it's mostly Marvel.
Okay.
DC just never really. I don't like Superman.
Okay.
I will go on the record as saying that multiple times.
Yeah.
So it was mostly just Batman for me and The Flash.
So are you mostly a single issue type of reader?
Yeah.
Like that's what you do?
Yeah.
Do you think of yourself more as like, because I know there are people who think of themselves as collectors and people who think of themselves as readers primarily. Do you gravitate toward one of those labels more than the other?
I'd say I'm right in the middle.
You're right in the middle.
Like right before I come over here, I went to the comic store, picked up today's holds. I went home and I started reading, and then I got like 3 more to read. But the rest of them that I read, they're already in boxes. Okay, now it's in nice and it's bagged and boarded and pristine and safe.
When I was in my right in the prime of just getting, because I only had 5 or 6 in my holds, but that didn't mean that wasn't all I went home with. You know what I mean? I was always looking for stuff, back issues and stuff, and it was like therapeutic to have my ritual. Once it was read, or in my case, it wasn't even read yet.
Once it was looked at,
I would have my the specific bags. My dad is a big comic collector. He's got the real deal comics from back in the day. Like he sold Spider-Man #1 to make a down payment on his house when I was a kid. That kind of stuff. Awesome. But he uses these specific kind of bags that don't oxidize or something. Yeah, so I used those for a while, but they're just too expensive. But I had my ritual, you know what I mean? And I would put them in, I'd tape it down and slide into my box where I have these different dividers that I had made with the names of.
Yep. And, I know how it is, bro. I got the exact setup.
It just feels so good.
I know, until you get it all together, until you start getting 43 different titles, and then
then you have
this is
lots of boxes.
Well, so I've been going through them though, and just been like, you know what, I don't really need the third, volume of Iceman or whatever. I think I can sell these 12 issues. So Mitch has been kind of just going through my stuff, being like, "That's worth something. That's crap." And I'll let him handle that work.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine that if you want to make any money back, that if you have sets, it's probably
better. I got to a point too where I was like, well, if I just get these last 2 issues, I complete that volume, I can sell the stupid thing. And then I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care to spend $6 to make 40. I'll just just make 32.
Well, and to some extent, I mean, this is kind of sort of heresy for a comics reader to say, but to some extent, I mean, say you buy a book for $4 and you read it, and then say you throw it away, right? Say you just toss it. I mean, if you're going to have a latte at some point in the week, you're going to spend $4 on it.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day,
Yeah, what is it? It's just
right. You got to read it. You got
Yeah.
the experience of it. But that can be hard to do if you've got to, because as you said, it's a ritual. It's a
it's to the point. Like for me, even to the I'm not a real collector.
Mm-hmm.
But even with trades, which it doesn't matter, a trade, whatever print it is of whatever,
it doesn't.
It's not going to ever be
It's
worth,
gonna be worth
anything.
I bought. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
but,
you're fine.
I bought the first printing of the Dark Knight trade.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
I bought it for $20. The
Yeah.
exact same price you can go to the store and buy it for.
Sure.
But I was like,
right.
oh, it's the first printing of the.
Yeah.
But, it's whatever. It's cool.
Yeah.
But
Right.
it's worth the exact same amount.
Yeah, but even so, like I still read them carefully.
Yeah.
Like I'm not like haphazard with how I
Right,
handle
yeah.
even
With your
just
trades?
Yeah, even a trade. Like I'm not a bender. I'm not a like if it's prose, if it's like a book.
Yeah.
I kind of like to wear it out, and I feel like if I have my hands on it and like my sister would just die if she heard me say
Yeah.
this because
Yeah.
she gets a new
She's
book, she
very
like
careful.
cracks it open and
Not one to
reads
bend the
through it.
spine
Yeah.
back around.
Yeah, and I'm just like,
it drives me crazy.
Yeah.
I love it when it comes to like novels and stuff.
See,
but
I'm not
comics-
super careful with my trades. Like I don't like the idea of them getting damaged through my reading, but
Yeah.
I'm not super like the reason I want them is because I want them to be my books that I can just take down and open up and
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
flip through and all this stuff.
Sure.
So yeah, and I'll some of the more obscure stuff that I bought that I can't like order through a shop. I found on Amazon used like library copies where it's still got like stickers down the spine
right.
and stuff like that, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, it's totally fine.
And
yeah.
for me, like it's more just like a thing I don't even think about.
Yeah.
it's just it's instilled in me to like you hold a comic book a certain way.
Sure, yeah.
If you're gonna let it hang in your hand, you always let it hang this way. The
Yep.
spine should never be bent.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
He knows, man.
He
Yeah.
does. Yeah, he does.
I was raised in a
was raised that way.
household where
Yeah.
I was not allowed to touch Dad's comics.
That's how my daughter is. She's not allowed to touch. She has her own. I get her own. But
Yeah.
Totally.
she cannot
Totally.
touch Daddy's comics.
What do you get as far as kid friendly comics? Right?
It's kind of hit or miss for her because she's not super interested in it right
Sure.
now. But there's that DC superhero girls. They come
Okay.
out. They come out with a few things.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, so they're not like ongoing.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like if she comes with me and she's like, oh, there's an Adventure Time comic or something, a character she recognizes, I'll get that for her.
Cool.
But
Sure, and it's there's just something nice, even as a kid. Like that feeling never goes away.
Right.
If
Yeah.
you go into a store and leave with something,
Yep.
there's
Yep.
like a little,
It's like
Yeah.
a
Exactly.
little
Yeah.
Little
shot
jolt.
of like
Yep.
something.
right,
Yep.
and she'll be 4 in November, so she is not worried about continuity.
Sure. Right.
So like if as long as I'm reading something with her, she's happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, that's cool.
Even when
pretty
I was
much.
like 10, like the big thing for me was, and that was around the time of kind of the Jim Lee X-Men kind of big chisel.
Yeah.
My thing was I wanted to take the comic book and I wanted to draw the images.
Yeah.
I don't remember any stories from when
Bro,
I
I'm right
didn't
there
read
with
them.
you, man.
I didn't read them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've still got I remember my very first comic that I ever like not just like read my uncle's or whatever, like
Yeah.
the first one that my mom bought for me was Sonic the Hedgehog number like 47, 46, 47. I still have it.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's still bagged and boarded in really nice condition,
Oh,
but
that's
like I
awesome.
got all these Sonic comics back then and I was the same way. I would want to open them and I'm like, well, you got to keep them nice, but
Yeah.
set them on the table because I really want to draw Mecha Sonic and he's going to look
Yeah.
awesome.
That's
But,
awesome.
Yeah, they those pictures didn't turn out as well as I wish they had.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, I remember buying. I remember when my mom would take me to a comic shop, and I would buy comics just based on the cover. And I was the same way. Like, I wouldn't really open them. If I did, I remember the first 2-issue story that I read, and I remember going, "Oh my god, those fit together! Like it's a first and a second part, and it was
Right.
self-contained. It was like a Shadow of the Bat story about the Joker kidnapping people and killing them in a theater somewhere, or
Right.
something like that. But I was like, oh, it continues, So I remember putting that together, but I would just buy them because I would buy them based on symmetry of the artwork on the front. If it looked like important and like
Yeah.
symmetrical, I would be like, yeah, I need that one.
Yeah, because how many issues of Spider-Man are there where he's like hanging upside down?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I've seen that one before.
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, you don't really think about the importance of that cover, but like it is.
Yeah.
Like if it has to, speak to you in a certain way to even see it on the
Sure.
Because like if you
Right.
like even today, if I'm browsing like the shelves at the destination or something,
Yeah.
like my brain will just skip over things that don't.
Yeah,
you
don't
know.
grab you.
Yeah.
I mean that's their because like they have interior artists, but that isn't
Right.
always the cover artist.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
and they'll have this specific cover artist to catch your eye.
Yeah.
You know, so when you're scanning, you're like, oh, Spider-Man is now standing up instead of I think I'll buy that one instead of him hanging upside down. Like,
Yeah.
But-
Absolutely.
and then variants, which are a hole that
That's a
just
whole
just
thing.
Yeah,
muddy hole.
I had to cut myself off from that. That was the first thing I cut myself off.
Yes,
from.
me too.
It was variants.
Because I'm like, well, this could be this. I bought this for $4. I could probably sell it for $4 down the road,
Right.
like for full price.
Sure. Yeah.
But like, I'm never gonna sell it.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
gonna have it in a box. So for me, like, I think the last comic that I had as far as like a holds was probably Batman.
Yeah.
Snyder's Batman.
Good choice.
And I got his full run. Like I've got them all. I feel it's complete. My number one is not a very good one, I don't think.
Oh. It's better
No,
than
it
mine,
is.
probably.
No, it is.
Yours
I was
is
thinking
good,
of
yeah.
Saga. I have a Saga. I
okay.
have.
Up to a
I
point.
collected like maybe the first 20 or something issues of that, and I had
Of
to
Saga?
Yeah,
And you stopped?
yeah.
Shame.
It was just too. I just couldn't. That was around
I-
the time I couldn't justify spending
I
money
got
every.
you. I got you. Saga's one of those really good ones, man.
It is. And my dad's got a number one, and it's really good condition,
Yeah.
and it's already worth a couple $100.
Right, yeah.
So that's the only one I have that's an image first because I just couldn't shell out the money to get.
Oh,
but I have
the number one,
I have
yeah.
2 through 20 first print. And
Yeah, I was late
Felt
to the
pretty good
I
about
was
it.
late to the party for Saga, so I dropped like 40 for that first issue.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
But like you said, it's worth a lot more now. So
Yeah.
that was something that kind of surprised me coming back into comics back in 2012. It was like, I know about Marvel and I know about DC.
Yeah.
But when I got into Image
Yeah.
and like Boom Studios and
Yep.
IDW and all them, I was like, oh my God, there's like this whole new world.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like
Definitely.
I could probably pick 2 stories from two series from DC and Marvel that I would be like, okay, I got to get those. But then if I had to cut everything else and just get Image, I'd be okay
Yeah,
with that.
dude,
Oh,
Image
really?
is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like
Dude.
currently, right now, I'm not reading any hero books except for the new Snyder Batman.
Right, the All-Star.
Yeah, everything else is just
Dude. Yeah.
Like I'm reading Deadly Class.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
reading Black Science.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
I'm about to get a Black Science statue. That's my new
Nice.
thing that I should
Oh.
not be putting money towards.
Right.
But I am. Yeah, that thing is wicked.
Dude, yeah, Image has found this very sweet spot between like, because I read a lot about the like history of comics and all this stuff, and comics culture and everything, and there's this divide that shows up in all the research about it between mainstream quote unquote and indie or art comics,
Right.
right? Image has found this sweet spot, this third way between them, right? They're not hero
Yeah.
books, but at the same time, they're sort of offbeat. They're more about character and things like that.
Yeah, well, we have this this new kind of resurgence in television, right?
Yeah.
So like, think about the HBO shows like Game of Thrones, the
Sure.
new Westworld show.
Yeah.
yeah.
Any of those kind of science fiction or fantasy type shows that are very serialized and very character driven.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff has been happening in creator owned comics for the
Yeah.
last
Long time.
15 years.
Yep.
Well, like, it's like you said, this, everyone's diving into. Let me. How am I going to put this? So there's lots of like hero movies and stuff and TV shows coming out,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But and as much as like, oh, I can't wait for Logan or Guardians of the Galaxy
Yeah.
or whatever. But it's the independent stuff that's getting bought up that I really can't wait for.
Right.
Outcast, that show. I only
yeah.
saw the first episode.
I haven't seen any of it yet.
It is dead up. Like if you listen to, we reviewed volume 1 of Outcast. Excuse me.
Out with the bad.
Yeah, and with the good. We reviewed Outcast Volume 1. That's by Kirkman. He does
Yeah.
Walking Dead.
Which is the only one I've read, but it's another one that's just like I could just read it.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh, yeah.
Volume.
And that first episode just is like the comic perfectly. Like
Yeah.
there are scenes, like little panels in the comic you see directly in the show.
Oh, interesting.
And it's so good. Of course, Walking Dead's really good.
Yeah.
There's a horror comic out now called Harrow County.
Yeah.
Actually, that's going to be our next episode on Bagged and Bearded.
Oh, cool.
And that one's optioned by Sci-Fi.
Really?
Like, yeah. There's
Wow.
It's I'm telling you, this golden age of television is digging into the things that we love.
Yeah.
And you're gonna Mark Millar, like
I was just about to say
Yeah,
that.
you know,
Anything he writes is
anything
automatically
he
brought
writes,
up.
Right.
anything that he even before it even comes out.
Yeah.
Studios are to the point where they're making deals. Chrononauts, before the
Yep.
first issue dropped, they had a movie deal.
Same with Huck.
Yep.
I think Huck was the last thing he did. Yeah,
Okay.
that was already
crazy.
ready to go.
Craziness.
And now he's doing Reborn with Greg Capullo.
Oh,
And yeah,
right.
that's really cool so
Cool.
far. I don't know if that's being bought up, but it's
Probably.
Mark Millar. It
Yeah.
won't take long.
Yeah,
exactly.
That dude's doing all right.
Yeah,
That's very cool.
for sure.
So do you do most of your reading in terms of, do you do most of your readings in singles, or do you buy trades after the fact?
Both.
Both.
As much as I hate to admit that too.
Yeah, sure.
Like I buy singles when they come out,
Yeah.
and at this point, if I start a volume, I'll try and complete it so that even if I don't like it, I can sell it off.
Yeah.
But for example, Saga or Black Science or whatever, I will buy the first volume so that if my friends are like, "What's that about?" I'm like, "Well, you're not touching my number one,
Right.
But here's the trade."
Well, in,
Sure.
in Image, it's like they make it so
So easy.
easy
They
for
make
you
it
to
easy.
$10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Vast majority.
But
like
then you're
those.
hooked, right? And then it's like, oh, well, the next one's just 15.
Right.
Exactly. Well, that's why
Yeah.
I do that, because I have volume one. I'm like, oh, you really like that? You can go buy the. You
can go get volume
yeah,
two.
You're into
Right.
it now, and that's your problem. But yeah, I
Yeah.
probably have, I don't know, like 10 or 11 series, specifically Image, that I have the first volume of, just because I'm like, dude,
Yeah.
you have to read this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's difficult because with just to go back to television, your shows come out and it's an episode a week typically, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to reading a comic, especially like, for example, Walking Dead was always one for me, to where like it's just a really quick and fast read.
Yeah.
I feel like very little happens per issue.
Right.
And then you wait a month for the next issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like it just got harder and harder for me to. I mean, I was always having to pick up the last issue, read the last 3 pages.
I think we might have stopped. We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have an automatic shutdown.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Cool.
a
We're
certain
going.
night, so
Beautiful.
I canceled it.
Okay.
But yeah. I mean, it's a month is a long time to
It
wait
is.
for the
Yeah.
next.
Yeah.
Small, like especially in comics, it just feels like it's a small
Yeah.
section
Like
of a story.
increment of a long
Yeah.
story.
yeah.
Well, and actually, that's interesting. I was reading something the other day talking about how the majority of comics are now sold in, like, the majority of money for companies is in the trades now,
Yeah.
right? Most people are buying trades because
Well, we're
they're
in a-
more
yeah.
durable, whatever.
We're in a binge watch society.
Yeah, of course. And so it's weird how that need to sell, single issues sort of affects the narratives that you end up getting, right? You sort of have to have, it's sort of like false jeopardy. We were talking about that the other day. So like in Netflix shows, you don't have to have these
Commercial
urgent
breaks.
cliffhanger
Right.
commercial breaks, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to have tiny conflicts that happen all the way through. And so it's sort of the same thing, right? If you write something that's just going to come out as a trade, you don't have to have little conflicts all the way through. But if you're doing something that's in pamphlet form first, you have to hit every 22 pages. You got to
Right.
hit,
But that's
something's
but
wrong.
keep them coming back.
Yeah.
It's also interesting though, because I feel like writers are actually doing less of that.
Okay.
And it makes the monthly, that makes it even a little bit more difficult. You know
Right.
what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's like, it feels like not a lot. Like,
Uh-huh.
one example was Batman Zero Year.
Okay. Yeah.
Was hard for me to read monthly. Like when I got the trade, I reread it and it was like, it was a different experience.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
like he doesn't even put on the cowl for like,
Yes.
3 or 4 issues.
Yeah.
And not that that's a, it's like, I feel, I don't want to be the guy that's like, I don't want to be that guy, but I don't know. It's just,
So wait, like that's a long time to wait is what you're
yeah,
saying.
exactly. I mean-
right. But it's not when you're reading it all together,
Yeah.
right? Because then it's 60 pages and it's really quick. or whatever.
Sure.
Plus, like, you have these people who, Walking Dead is a perfect example for everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
There's, like, these people who are totally into Walking Dead who actually didn't even know it was a comic book.
Yeah.
They find out,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, well, issue 153 just came out. If you want to hunt down every single one of those,
Yeah.
or $10, here's the first 6.
Of course.
And they're like, oh, and then the next, like, 6, 7 issues are all together in this next book.
Yeah.
Bam, they
Yeah.
got them all. Like,
Yeah,
it's just,
absolutely.
trades are pretty perfect. I just I can't help but love the single issues
Totally.
myself, but
Totally,
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I think it's just a different type of reader. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I think it's really cool too when a lot of these shows that are comic based give those little nods or little shout outs to the readers. You have
Yeah.
your huge fan base, but Walking Dead again, like last season, when they come to Alexandria and Carl meets the other kids and they're like, oh, here's this comic if you want to read it, whatever. But he hands them an Invincible comic, and that's another Kirkman
Right.
story.
Right, yeah.
I saw that and I was like, oh, squeeze.
Yeah, totally.
But of course,
Yeah.
everybody else is like, oh, comic. Okay, move on. Where's the zombies?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's just fun seeing those little shout outs, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like speaking of Walking Dead, you were talking about a quick read, and The Walking Dead is perfect for everything we're talking about, because I feel like,
Dude, you blazed through that comic.
well, dude, it's very image heavy, and it's not
is.
very word heavy.
No.
Like, there's very little dialogue. And so this is a difference in how me and Joe read comics in general. I tend to just ram through them.
Yeah.
Like, I just roll through, I'll roll through like a couple trades in a day at least.
I've gotten better
if
at
I
it.
don't have anything
I've gotten
going on.
better at it.
Well, I
but-
don't know if it's better. I mean, I should probably be steeping in the art a little
Yeah,
more.
I like to sit on the panels
yeah,
for a little
Yeah.
bit. Like,
right.
And again, I think for me, it's more of a, I just spent $4 on this, so I'm trying to, I'm
sure.
consuming it in
Yeah,
a way
yeah.
that, like,
Right.
trying
Right.
to, I don't know, like osmosis or
I
something.
probably fall more your way.
Okay.
But Will, I think your way is the better way, honestly, because I'm a speed reader, so I will grab an issue.
Yeah.
Like today, 7 issues, I got through 5 of them in like an hour.
Yeah.
Right.
But so I retain what happened, but there are some times where certain issues I will slow down, Walking Dead in particular, because
Yeah.
it's always such a fast read.
Yeah.
But I want to sit there and be like, oh, did you just see Rick do whatever Rick does so
Sure.
well? Like it's. I think that's the better way to read them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I always can go
Yeah.
your way, Joe.
I just burn through those things.
I find that hero books for me are, for whatever reason, harder to speed through. I'm not sure why that is. I feel like the creator-owned stuff is just easier reading. Do you feel that way at all?
Interesting.
I think it kind of depends on the series, because there's one that Manifest Destiny.
Yeah.
Have you guys?
I've seen it. I haven't read it.
It's like Lewis and Clark's Expedition Across America,
Yeah.
but there's lots of monsters, and they
Yeah.
have to actually like take care of them so that America is safe for settlers and everything. But so there's Lewis and Clark's journal that they're going to turn into the president, and it's kind of like your narrator. So Lewis is writing in the journal, but then he has a second journal with all the details of the monsters and stuff. So while there's dialogue, there's also this the little narration boxes, and so
Kinda
it
like
seems like a longer read because you're
Right.
reading.
Like reading Watchmen, where you have the little pirates.
Yes,
and
exactly that. So, I can see what you're saying, but it's kind of. I feel like it's kind of just series dependent.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's true. For whatever reason, I've found for me, like, I think the reason I gravitate towards non-hero books is probably just because, for whatever reason, like, my brain just accepts it easier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Hey,
Wait, so you're saying that it's harder to read a hero book quickly?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay.
And I don't know why that is.
Interesting. Okay.
I've always felt that way.
they always have a lot going on too, though.
I feel like maybe it has something to do with, like, certain actions. Like, I feel like I have to kind of go back and really pay attention to, like, the camera movements, and whereas typically a really character-driven story, you don't worry about that as much.
yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It does. So it's not as based on, like, movement in some way. right?
Yeah, maybe so.
Like, if you have a hero and he or she's doing a huge flip over a building, and you have a couple panels depicting that, you need to put that together in a way that if it's two people talking, you don't have to put those movements together or those big shifts or something.
Now, I will say Black Science, for example, I have a little bit more trouble with because, first of all, it's a darker, just aesthetically, the art is darker.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of action that you have to keep up with because, they're always in a tight spot.
Yeah.
So that's...
Are you guys manga readers at all? Or into anime at all?
I didn't. I know one time over at Joe's place when we were like, how old? Like 15 or something, we watched an anime or two.
Yeah.
But that was about
We
it.
watched
Pretty much
one.
it.
We watched
That was
one of
about
those.
it.
I feel you.
I have almost no experience in that world.
Well, manga is really detail oriented. So, because there's genres for everything in manga.
Yeah.
But majority you can say ninjas and swords and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So, Bleach, for example, everybody's got their own sword. Every sword has its own power, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But they get into these battles and it's got the panel work for and then they did this, and then they moved it that way, and then they blocked this, and he thrusted that. It's very detail oriented. I don't know if that would be more up your alley or not, but
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
and maybe the content itself. Like if you're not, I know manga and anime have like a kind of like a core group to a degree, but might be something worth checking out.
Yeah,
if you like ninjas, I got some recommendations for you. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, dude, it's I love some anime.
Did you find? I found this. I know when we got back into comics, we kind of got back into comics together. We were chatting about stuff, and we ended up reading a bunch of books. And, it was like learning. I had to learn to reread them, right? Like it wasn't a smooth thing. It was like learning to read a new language or something like that. Do you find that with like Japanese style comics versus Western style comics?
Yeah.
Is it like reading a different thing?
Yeah, it is because with manga you're going right to left.
Yeah.
So but each page is you still read each page the same way.
Okay.
So you're still going left to right on the page, but you're going right page to left page.
Yeah.
And I'll at my work I just do factory, BS.
Yeah.
So I have my phone open and I'll read manga online or whatever.
Right.
And I'll tear through, 30 chapters of one in one day.
Sure.
And then I'll go pick up Spider-Man. I'll start in the back page. I'm like, wait, no, I just saw the cliffhanger. That sucks.
I had no idea you read it that way.
Yeah. It goes from the back to the front.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah. But it's really, you get used to it after a while. You're like, okay, this is not American made, so I need to start in the back.
Yeah. That's really interesting.
Are you a digital comic reader at all?
I do. So Marvel gives out the digital codes with the issues, and I use every code that I have. So because eventually I do plan, even if it's a comic I'm really into, I know when I'm 50 or something, I'm going to sell it.
Yeah.
So I can put the kid through college or something.
Right.
So I use those codes so that I do have them later on in life.
Cool.
But I don't usually straight outright purchase digital comics.
Yeah, because Marvel has the Netflix type deal where you can pay a monthly.
What is that? Unlimited or something?
Marvel Unlimited or something.
Something like that.
I was pretty interested in doing that because I probably again goes back to some weird thing I have in my brain where I feel like I have to consume this thing, but if it's not like if it's a digital comic, my brain tells me that I need to pay less for it. Because it's not something I have in my hands.
I'm the same way.
But at the same time, you're literally just paying for a story. Mm-hmm. Because nowadays, it's not about holding on to most issues you buy aren't gonna be worth
10 cents.
Yeah, what the comics of yesteryear are now worth because it's. There's so many of them.
Exactly. It's so mass produced nowadays.
Sure. So essentially, it's just a way of kind of saving the planet by not consuming so much paper.
Right.
But also just kind of freeing yourself as far as not having all of these things weigh you down. But at the same time, it just feels like if I'm going to give you my hard-earned money, you need to give me something physical and hold.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
But then there are people that only do digital just because the art is higher resolution. Mm-hmm. It's all scanned in. Some of the art never even really touches the page nowadays. A lot of it's
done on the computer. Yeah.
digital art.
And one of the cool features for a lot of like Comixology is the big digital website, right? Like Marvel and DC and Image, everybody goes through them. But they have I don't forget what they called it, but like they basically, you can either look at the whole page and read it just like you would a comic book,
right?
Or they go panel to panel.
Yep.
And so that's really helpful if
zoom ins and zoom
exactly
outs
like it'll instead of your eye having to be like, okay, where am I going?
Yeah.
It'll just lead you. And I really like that. I like that they've done that. And I used to listen to their podcast, but I got really tired of it. But they go into that process about how they have to decide, like, okay, we're going to show this. And then like you're reading the little text box, but then it expands to the panel so you see the art. I think that's really cool because you're getting an idea of the story instead of being distracted by, Spidey kicking Doc Ock in the face or something.
Right.
So,
And it actually allows reveals.
Yes.
Whereas,
that's true.
You just can't.
Exactly. Like if the big reveal is on the right page and you're reading the left, you're going to glance.
Yep.
You're always going to glance.
I have read things where certain writers try to keep it mathematically put it on a way to where the reveal's on the next page.
Sure.
It just doesn't always work out.
No.
But it's interesting that someone would be in charge of kind of program, like a cinematographer would be in charge of programming the camera that you're watching.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's pretty neat.
So what's you said 43 titles, 46 titles?
Yeah,
you got right now?
something in that area.
Yeah, sure. What's your favorite one that's going right now? If you had to do it.
I mean, that is a good question, bro.
Yeah.
Black Science, honestly, is like one of my favorite comics ever. I am huge personal interest on multiverse and dimensions and stuff like that. And Rick Remender is my favorite writer by far. I get everything he writes.
He's cool, man.
Yeah,
he's super cool.
Crazy,
he's weird.
Yeah, he's a weird guy.
He's weird.
But his that book came out and I was just hooked from issue 1. Like I said, I'm getting that statue I don't need. But that's one that even when I got past the stage of like, variants, like I still picked up a couple of those because I'm like, I'm so into this. And the artist, Matteo Scalera, he's crazy talented. Like I want a piece of his artwork for sure.
Yeah.
But man, Black Science is where it's at. Again, like Deadly Class, solid book.
Yeah.
Tokyo Ghost was a 10-issue series that
I was going to ask
finished.
you about different Remender stuff because I really dig his the way he.
I mean, he's like what I'm really impressed by Remender about is that he has so many titles that have so many different voices, like like Black Science is sci-fi, you know, and then he had or he's got Deadly Class, which is this like set in the 80s, but teenage angst, like a lot of angst in that book, you know. And then like Tokyo Ghost was like samurais and tech and stuff, like futuristic. Like it blows my mind how much he does. Yeah. Because there's other people like Brian Bendis who, don't get me wrong, the man is very talented.
Sure.
But he does a lot, and I really feel like his writing suffers because of it. I feel like he overloads himself.
I've heard that a lot, actually. Yeah.
But Remender, man, he's top notch, good guy.
Yeah,
I like him.
He did Captain America for a while, didn't he?
He did some Captain
really?
America. I believe he did. I know he did some Venom. X-Force, Uncanny X-Force was like one of his more infamous stories because he killed a little kid in that, and it was great. Kid Apocalypse. Okay. So if it maybe he's going to be a bad guy, but whatever. Put a bullet in him.
Right.
What else did he do? Venom. When they turned Venom into like a secret agent.
Oh, okay.
He was the one that kind of helped with that, and that was crazy good story.
I kind of feel like, I've never read a Remender hero book, but I imagine it's a different experience than his creator-owned stuff, right?
Yeah, I would highly recommend either the Venom series or the Uncanny X-Force. Yeah. Like Uncanny X-Force, if you just wipe away the hero stuff, like you don't know that it's Wolverine and Deadpool and whoever else, and you just look at it as like a team of assassins going on these missions, it's still badass. Yeah. Like he just, I don't know what it is, man. His story writing is just out of this world.
Yeah. So you mentioned like you mentioned being into, and this sort of tracks with one of the things I wanted to ask you, which is sort of what is your favorite genre like of comic? And you mentioned sort of dimensional or sort of galactic size stuff. Is that where most of your interest sits?
I think sci-fi.
Yeah,
sci-fi and fantasy are my two big ones. I'm just a sucker for them every time. You guys read Birthright?
No.
By Joshua Williamson. That's a trade I will let you guys borrow. I'm telling you, that is so good.
Yeah.
But it's the story of, like, you know, every little kid ever wanted to, you know, fall into the closet and end up in Narnia or whatever.
Right.
So it's that story.
Yeah.
This kid disappears, playing baseball with his dad, disappears, comes back a year later, and he's, you know, he was 6 when he disappeared, and he's like 26 now.
Okay.
He's been in this land where he's the chosen one, and he's supposed to defeat the evil, you know, king, and he's like he's got like all these weapons and stuff. And meanwhile, in, you know, our Earth, his dad's accused of killing him and, you know, burying his body. The family's split up, you know. Right. So it's this amazing book, but like you get that fantasy in it, and it just hooked me. And it's like I said, you guys should borrow it.
That's a really interesting idea, because like even like Kid's back, right?
Yeah,
26 years old.
Yeah.
No one in their right mind would ever say, "Oh no, that's him."
Yeah.
Oh no, he's back.
Like, no, that's not possible.
Fine. Exactly.
So
and that's
still in
they
rough
play
shape.
on that a lot in the book. Is just like the mom is like, "That's not him." I mean, obviously it's not him. He's been gone for a year. How's this 20-something? You know?
Right.
But his dad is like, you know, the one who's been he turned into an alcoholic and everything. He's like, "That's him.
Yeah.
I can tell that's my little boy."
Yeah.
And you know, there's twists and turns and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, if
sounds
you're in
fun.
any type of fantasy and just like the idea of that premise, Birthright, man. And Joshua Williamson, he writes The Flash now for DC.
Oh, okay.
He's doing their next event, which is Justice League versus Suicide Squad. Like, he's really growing. He also writes Nailbiter, which is like, you know, people have such a fascination with serial killers. Mm-hmm. And Nailbiter is all about this one town, Buckaroo or something like that. It's probably not it. Yeah. But this one town where like 15 different serial killers have come from that town.
Yeah.
And so these, you know, detectives go to that town to figure out why.
Yeah.
And, you know, whole big conspiracy and stuff like that. But yeah, that's crazy good too.
That's cool. So what is it about like big dimensional sci-fi stuff? What grabs you about that? Or is
just the idea? It's like, even before the sci-fi comics and stuff that talk about it, like just the idea of multiple dimensions. Like, there's another dimension right now where all of us are dogs.
Right.
You know, we're all sitting here doing this podcast, but like, I don't know, I'm a basset hound. And,
you know,
have
have you guys heard of the Mandela effect?
I don't know.
Not off the top of my head.
What's the guy's name? Nelson Mandela?
Yeah.
So the theory is that there are a significant amount of things that large groups of people remember from the past that if you go back into the past and look at it, never happened. But there are enough people that remember that thing.
That's right.
That the idea is that it did happen in a parallel universe or something, and that our universes are crossing.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So Nelson Mandela in the 80s, there are thousands of people who remember his death. They remember his funeral on TV, and they remember his wife giving a speech about it.
Okay.
Dude died like a couple years ago.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 But people remember it. Sinbad. Do you remember Sinbad?
Yeah.
Do you remember
the comic?
Do you remember Sinbad starring in a movie where he was a genie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't happen. That doesn't exist.
Wait, what?
That's
Sinbad
crazy.
has never been in a movie where he was a genie. It doesn't exist.
Oh, that was Shaq.
That's what everyone says. They think, well, Shaquille O'Neal was in Shazam, but like,
yeah, but that has nothing to do with Sinbad.
yeah, but like they don't look anything alike.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's a bunch of them, like the Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
Were never called the Bernstein Bears.
Right.
They're the Bernstein Bears with an A.
What?
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
E in their name.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
That kind of, you know, like,
oh my God.
but see, you're sitting,
Right.
you're one of those people with most of those things.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
you know, and you know, it's probably just one of those
Sure.
things where it's
I mean, it could be one of those things like he never says, Luke, I am your father, right? It could be one of those things.
Exactly.
Where he doesn't say it, but it just gets twisted in the culture, and so everybody has this, you know.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that it's dimensions crossing more.
Yeah, it's
much
fun.
better.
It's fun.
It's much better.
That's what fascinates me.
Yeah.
That idea
Yeah.
just fascinates me more than anything else.
Yeah.
String theory and like,
Sure.
don't get me wrong, I do not know the science behind everything and the terminology. My brother
Sure.
does. He's a crazy smart dude, physics and all that.
Oh, nice.
So we'll get into conversations and he'll help me out with the terminology. But
Sure.
yeah, man, just like that whole idea just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like there's this. Okay, you got me going. So there's this thing called, and my brother will kill me if I'm wrong, but so it's like spatial foam or something.
Okay.
But so you can't create or destroy matter, right?
Yeah, right.
But in space, in this, like they recreated it somehow, but like this vacuum, they create a box, they pull out all matter,
Yeah.
so it's just like a vacuum. There's nothing in there,
Yeah.
and inside it, randomly, just a little pop, just like something appears,
Right. Okay.
something disappears. And how the hell did that thing just appear and disappear inside there?
Yeah.
So it's like they call it this spatial foam, just like this idea that matter can't be created or destroyed, but it can be changed. So in that process, maybe a matter from another dimension is popping into ours for that split second or whatever, and popping back into theirs in
Right.
a different form.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just
Sure,
like
well,
these-
I mean, there are so many theories of, you have 3 dimensions, 4 dimensions, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we can't experience it,
Yeah.
then our brains say, well, it's not something that
Yeah.
exists.
Right.
But the mathematics time and time again can prove that these things are real.
Right.
But the fact that we just can't experience
Right.
anything
Sure.
more than a third dimension, because that's what we are. That's what we live in.
Right.
Right.
I don't know. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It's like just the idea of what if. It's the what if game.
Sure.
Just what if this, what if that. But I like to believe what if exists somewhere.
Sure. Yeah.
And I don't know. It just always fascinated me.
Totally. Yeah. Well, I mean, what's the one theory is the multiverse, right? I mean, the actual multiverse theory, right? Not like the DC multiverse,
Oh,
or
right.
like the actual like that there are potentially infinite numbers of universes, right? So
Infinite possibilities. Of
Yes.
If anything is possible, it has happened at one
well,
point.
and to
Right.
some extent,
Yeah.
right? If there are infinite universes, then there are no quote unquote possibilities. Everything is realized.
Yeah.
Everything is
somewhere.
realized, right?
Right. Which that's crazy. Which that means not only is there one where we're all dogs, but there are infinite ones where
Yeah.
we are all dogs. Right.
Yep. One where the Earth is already blown up. One where
Right.
the Earth is just starting. One where it's
Right.
not Earth. It's,
Yeah, exactly.
Chronos 22.
Sure.
Right. Whatever. Like,
Yep.
it just the idea of it alone just blows my
Sure.
mind.
Yeah.
But I'm also a stoner, so shit like that blows my mind all the time.
Sure.
I don't know. You guys never talk about stuff like that, but I was just gonna
Yeah.
pull it out. I love weed, and that shit.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and just think about shit like that, man. It's so much fun.
I smoked quite a bit when I was younger, and then it sort of turned on me.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's ever happened to you, but
No.
it got no, okay. It got real. It
That's-
didn't like me at all. So
That's how you get through all those comic books. You're just in it, man.
I know. Yeah, he's right.
In it.
No, I mean, weed is, it's whatever. I've never, I like it a lot,
Yeah.
but it's always, it's like drinking. It's recreational.
Sure, yeah,
it's, for me, it's recreational, but,
better for you than drinking.
yeah.
actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
by
so,
far.
By
yeah.
far. Yeah.
But like I would, priorities. So, kids fed, bills are paid.
Yeah, of course.
Blah, blah.
Right.
And then, I can get a little bit for myself.
Sure.
and
Right. Of course.
Take care of my shit at night. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, it's
Most definitely.
I hope it gets legalized soon enough.
Yeah. Surely. Right. Surely. But yeah, I mean that's probably a nice companion piece with a comic when you have time. I would imagine,
yeah.
right?
At night when everyone else is asleep and
Sure.
Dad's in his man cave, I've been known to toke one and
Right.
read a little bit.
Right.
But,
Good old black science.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Blow your
I
mind.
always every time every week when I get my holds I always rank them from like the one that I'm whatever I am least interested in reading to most interested in reading compared to whatever comes out that week, and Black Science is always one of the last ones. So if I get home and I read a few and then I'm like, oh, you got to make dinner for the kid and put her to bed, then I'm like, okay, now I can really
Yeah.
read some Black Science.
So do you have like a comic budget that you allow yourself, or is it just kind of
It's
whatever?
just kind of whatever. My wife kind of wishes I had a budget on it, and
Sure.
she's not wrong. But I have been cutting down. I was up to like 60 something at one point, but it's getting to the point where, you know, like the kid's going to have sports coming up, and she wants to get involved in like dance class. I can't drop $30 a week on comics when my little girl wants to go tap dance and everything.
Sure.
So, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Again, priorities is just the same as everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say with 43 titles, what's average?
Between 20 and $30 a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't break the bank, but it doesn't help it.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So
And it's one of those things where, like, if you really did, like, if I went through my comic boxes and I've got like I've got trade shelves, just shelves of trades, where if you try to move that shelf, like it's like cement.
Yeah.
There's so much paper there. And then I've got my boxes. If I went through and added up, like, how much I've paid in the last 4 years on comics, like, I'd never want to do that. I never want to add it up.
It's
You know
not
what
a
I
good
mean?
idea.
Right.
Just look forward.
Yeah.
Don't look back.
Keep eyes ahead.
Right.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep.
But then again, I think about the money. My dad's a buyer and seller.
Yeah.
So he has it's completely it's self-sustaining kind of deal. Yeah, that's not what I do.
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm ready to get some stuff out and cut my collection back. And like I said, I was up to 60 something, but I always look at it as like Mitch is over 115 different series. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Mitch gets over 115 different comics.
That
so,
blows my mind.
Yeah. So that's every time I'm like, well, I'm at 39, but hey, at least I'm not at 115. You know?
Yeah, it's good to have that friend.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. He, I don't know. He has no cutoff for what he's into, but I mean, he doesn't have a wife or kid right now, so more power
And
to
he
him,
works
I
at a
guess.
comic book store.
True. Like
Totally.
if you're addicted to something, you're always around it.
That's
it's
a
not gonna
business
help you.
expense.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, he
I
should
mean,
write that off.
Like he's got to do research.
I wonder if you could.
He should write that off. He has to know about comics in order to serve the
Because
customers.
he honestly,
Right?
like, he's the guy at the destination.
Yeah.
We talked about this earlier, but
Yeah.
I go in and I just look for stuff that I might be interested in on the shelf, whether I'm going to buy it or not.
Totally.
This looks kind of interesting. Hey, Mitch.
Hey, Mitch, what's up with this?
What's the deal with this?
Yeah. Right.
He's like, well, I don't know everything there is to know about it, but here's everything there is to know about it.
I was just about to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least you know what you're getting into because he's very detailed. Like I love going in and listening to him describe to other customers different series or whatever because they'll ask about Black Science, and in my head I'm like, oh, here's 5 sentences and that's the description, and Mitch is like, here's the first 5 issues, sit down, we're gonna be here a while,
right.
But at least he knows what he's talking about. He knows.
Absolutely.
I wonder what kind of discounts do you get working at the destination?
I don't know what they get specifically.
I guess
I'm sure.
they should get X amount of comics for free every month.
Right. Yeah,
for
Brian.
sure. Yeah,
on,
Brian.
Yeah, Brian. God.
Mr.
you'll never-
Moneybags, you
for
can
those of
spare it.
For those of you who don't know, Brian, the guy in our last episode, owns this comic book store. Mitch is on Steven's podcast.
Yep.
Bagged and boarded.
Bearded.
Bearded.
The old mix-up.
It happens all the time. Don't worry about it.
There's too many of
So many things happen.
I wanted Bagged and Boarded when we were trying to decide on a name, and some other guy has it, some other podcast through actually Kevin Smith's network.
Oh, really?
And like he doesn't talk comics hardly at all.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I could have used that.
I mean, really, Bagged and Bearded is a better name.
I like it. I like it a lot.
It's a pun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
For sure. So, I'm going to have to, unfortunately, wrap up pretty soon. Where are we on time? How long have we been chatting? Because I got a question I want to ask.
I
time
brought
for
something to show you guys.
Oh,
too.
okay. Let's do that, too.
We're at an hour.
Oh, okay.
57 minutes.
Well, let me ask this question. So, for those who have stuck around this long, who aren't into comics, so probably not many people, but what would you suggest? Somebody who isn't into them, maybe even doesn't think they would like them, right? Maybe they're like, I don't really care about superheroes, whatever it is. You get to hand them an issue of a comic. What do you hand them? I know it's a hard question, so.
I mean, not to go into it too much, that falls back into genres and what you're into.
It does. That's a good point.
Saga's the go-to.
Okay.
I mean, Saga is like...
I was actually had that in the back of my head.
Very
as well.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very solid. Almost everybody loves that book.
Yeah.
Like, it's just...
Yeah.
It's it's fantasy. It's fantasy and sci-fi all together.
Yeah.
And that's just
But
It's romance, right?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
romance. It's all that. But at the heart of it, like the dialogue and the characters and the relationships is so now.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great
It's
point.
very relatable.
That's
Brian
a great
K.
point.
Vaughan is just a master writer. He's
He
won
is.
multiple awards for. Have you ever read Why the Last Man?
Yeah, a
I'm,
lot of it.
I'm
not all
about
of it.
halfway through the series.
So good,
Yeah,
man.
it's
But
very
that,
good.
that's him. I mean, that's Vaughn. He's
Yeah.
just crazy talented. I mean, he's doing Paper Girls right now, which
Right.
is
Yeah,
pretty
I'm
interesting.
waiting for the. Was it the
I
second?
read your first trade, I think. is
Yeah,
what I read.
I collected that was one where I got the first
Yeah.
few issues just because I'm like, this is Brian K. Vaughan.
Yeah.
You got to get the number one,
That's
number
right.
two,
Yeah.
number three.
Yeah.
And that thing came out of left field too, because I went into it. I was like, okay, Paper Girls. I can tell it's based like 80s or whatever older,
Yeah.
but I'll get into it. And then it just went sci-fi
Yes.
real quick, and I
Yeah,
was
it
like,
did.
okay, I'm down with
Yeah.
this. You got me already.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's a cool book.
Nice. I think Saga is a great answer for that. I mean,
Yeah,
that
it's pretty solid go-to.
Yeah, for sure. So
Just don't buy the first issue.
go buy the image
Yeah,
first.
just go buy
you want,
the
you want to
buy
buy
the
the
trade.
trades
Buy the
because
trade,
you're going
yeah.
to be spending a lot of money.
That's right. Yeah. It's
My
very
wife
popular.
doesn't get into comic books at all. She read The Killing Joke, actually, which
Yeah.
was really surprising.
Yeah.
But so I gave her Saga. I was like, she's all about some fantasy and sci-fi and all
Yeah.
that. So I was like,
Cool.
read this. She made it to the third page where Alana is like, I can't let my baby die without a name. And she shut the book. And I was like, I can't, and that was like a year
Yeah.
ago. She will not pick it back up. I'm telling her the baby is the narrator. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
She can't do
it's-
it.
It's like a main character. Like just
Right.
pick it back up, and she won't touch it. Yeah, but
Yeah.
everyone, make it past that. Make
Right.
it past that. Page.
Push through
Trust me,
there.
Yeah.
The baby survives.
Push through that part. Yeah.
Yeah, let me
sure.
get this out.
Oh
I
yeah.
brought-
So Steven brought a surprise.
this is gonna call back to some of your all's early episodes.
Okay.
I thought you all would dig this. I
All
found
right.
this while I was cleaning my mom's house and set it specifically aside.
Yeah.
A little
Totally.
little
What are we
thing
looking
there
at?
for.
Oh, nice. So what we have
Coming
here?
out of a shell.
What do we
Right?
got? What do we got, Joe? What do we have here?
This is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Coming Out of Their Shells tour on VHS live
yes,
stage
it is.
show.
Oh, that's so awesome.
Featuring Shredder and Splinter, the complete bodacious live 90-minute stage show direct from New York City.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah, this is-
fantastic.
Yeah, I saw
I
it and I was like immediately I was like I'm taking that to Joe and Will.
Dude,
Oh, yeah.
this is awesome
For sure.
dude. I sing the Skipping Stones.
Yeah.
Splinter. Anytime I'm near a body of water, I
Dude.
sing it.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
There's the that's the only thing I remember about this is that classic one-stringed bass
Right?
that Leonardo plays. Like he did it like it was a stunt, just playing it with one string. It's like, well, you just have less options, but that's cool.
I have a VHS player also buried somewhere in my mom's basement.
Yeah.
I've just been like slowly working my way toward it, specifically just to see if this one works.
Absolutely.
I have other VHS, but this one in
That's the
particular.
one, yeah.
Yeah,
You can
but-
convert it to DVD and just keep it forever.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't release it.
Yeah, right. Come on.
Dude,
There's got to be a market
it's
for that.
really is. I haven't watched it in so long just because I'm afraid to.
Yeah.
because
Right.
My
Right.
memories of it are so fond.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I might just let it.
just let it sit
when
up there.
Yeah.
I understand.
when I have kids, though,
yeah.
that's happening.
There you go.
If I'll
happening.
watch it, if it's that bad, I'll warn you.
yeah. Don't watch it. Just
Yeah,
remember it.
Just remember it. It's
remember
probably
Yeah,
best
dude,
up there.
that it got me into wanting to play the electric guitar.
Yeah.
That really did that.
There you go.
So
Yeah.
cool.
This was fun.
Yeah, it
I'm
was,
so glad.
guys. I'm so glad to
So
finally
glad you
get
got
on
on.
here.
Absolutely. Well, everybody go listen to Bagged and Bearded.
Yes,
Obviously.
please
Is there
do.
anything else you want to plug?
No, that's all I do.
Just do that?
yeah, no, bagged and bearded. I mean, anything on the DNN is
If you
really
want,
good.
if you want to
Totally.
support Steven's comic habit, you can donate it.
yeah, go to the destination. I have a holds box. You
Yep.
can just put your money in
Just
there.
put your money in there.
yeah, I'd
and he'll
appreciate
get it.
that.
That'd be great. So awesome. Thanks for doing it, man.
Yep.
This was a great time.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya. You done good.
for listening, DNN.